Do you guys remember how viral the KVD Good Apple Foundation went? Now they have a concealer and I'm so excited to try it. I actually sent my husband on a makeup errand for something else and he texted me saying that they had the KVD new Good Apple concealer at my Ulta. So he picked them up for me. He's literally the best ever. I have 2 shades to test out today. So I've got most of my makeup already on. I chose a foundation that had not too full of a coverage so I could really test how this concealer looks. I'm wearing the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation. So let's try out this new concealer. It's called Good Apple. It's a lightweight full coverage concealer. This comes in 32 shades and it's $28. It's supposed to have similar properties as far as, I guess, the inspiration goes from the KVD Good Apple Foundation. This was a very lightweight full coverage foundation. Seriously, a tiny bit of this goes a very long way. So they took inspo from that, it sounds like, and created a concealer that's supposed to be very lightweight and also have quite a bit of pigment in it. I did my research and it says that it's supposed to have extreme long wear. It's for all skin types. It's designed with the under eyes in mind, which I thought was interesting. And it said if you wanted boosted coverage, you just leave it on your skin for 30 seconds before blending it out. So we'll try that. Here's what the packaging looks like. It's looking like it's a dropper bottle, but I thought I saw the wand. Yeah, okay, interesting. So there is actually a wand attached, even though it looks like a dropper at the top. So here's the shape of the wand. It's got a nice flat side to it. I'm really excited to try this out. This is the shade 107. I'm gonna swatch both on my hands. I think I'm gonna end up being this shade for underneath my eyes. There's 107. That'll give me a nice bright under eye. Let's see what the shade 109 looks like. Okay, great. 109 is a little bit more on the yellow side, which I like to have options. So here's the shade 109 for reference. Both of them are nice and bright. It's mostly the undertone, but I feel like I would be able to get away with this one, 109 on my face and then 107 for under the eyes. All right, let's just apply it. I'm going to start by applying it to one side of my face. And if it's anything like the foundation, a little bit should go a long way. So I'm gonna start with a small amount. I'm just gonna dot 1, 2, 3 dots underneath my eyes. And I'm gonna take a brush and blend this out just to start. I usually do like to go in with a sponge afterwards, but I thought it'd be interesting to try a different application on one side and then a sponge on the other. Okay, well, immediately you can see it definitely brightened up the under eye without adding hardly any product whatsoever. So that was 3 tiny dots. I'm gonna go in with the 109 shade and let's try to spot conceal some of the areas along my face. So I do want a little more coverage here. I'm gonna apply some around the nose to cancel redness. We might as well do a little bit of concealer on the forehead and down the nose. Let's see how this blends out with a sponge. I'm just gonna start blending this out with my beauty sponge. So I can definitely feel it drying down, and I do feel like it definitely added more coverage. I'm not sure if I'm loving how it's blending out though when I leave it on the skin like that, just because it is drying down quicker than I thought. So I'm gonna hurry and blend this out with a brush so it doesn't dry down too much on the forehead, and then press it in with my sponge. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna add a little bit of eye cream. Let me see, I'm gonna use my Bobbi Brown eye cream. That's the one I'm the most familiar with, and we're gonna do eye cream underneath this eye just to see the difference. Since this is only, you know, a concealer review, I wanna really get a feel for how this applies. And I didn't apply an eye cream earlier, so I want to see if it will make a difference in texture and wear, because I'm usually wearing an eye cream. We're going to let that sink in a little bit though before applying the concealer. So based off of just playing with it for the first few minutes, I'm already noticing that I personally would probably just go ahead and blend out the concealer right after applying it. I don't personally feel like letting it sit is going to do much, except for make it harder to blend out. It already gives really good coverage, so I think you'd be fine to just blend it out immediately, and then if you wanted more coverage, you could just quickly add a couple more dots and do it like that. So let's go ahead and apply a tiny bit of the shade 107 onto the other eye. I'm actually really liking the shape of this wand. It's super intuitive. Okay, that was like way more than the other side. Whoops. We're gonna try blending this out with a sponge directly. It really is lightweight and it really does have quite a bit of pigment in there. Like you can see how bright my under eyes look, but it feels almost like there's nothing on my under eyes, which is really nice. Most of the time with under eye concealer, if it's more full coverage, it almost feels full coverage. I don't know if it's because the skin underneath the eyes is so much more thin that you really do feel your products underneath the eyes, but this doesn't feel like I applied anything, but it's clear that it provided quite a bit of coverage. I personally always apply powder underneath my eyes. I'm not sure if this can be left unset, but I always apply powder. So I'm just gonna move forward with my normal makeup. I'm gonna use the RCMA No Color Powder. This is a great powder for underneath the eyes and one that has worked for me for a while now, so I trust this. And I'm just gonna apply a little bit of powder underneath the eyes to set. It says it's supposed to be crease resistant as well. Notice how it doesn't say crease proof, because the reality is we all have fine lines around the eyes, you know, whether they're super prominent or not. And so if there's any lines, the makeup will settle into it. So sometimes it seems very unrealistic when a brand will say, oh, this is crease proof, because a little bit of creasing is very normal, I feel like, for most of us. I'm not noticing a huge difference between the eye with no eye cream versus eye cream, but we'll see how it ends up wearing. I feel like that's where we might be able to see a difference. Maybe it won't make a difference whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then we'll do a wear test to see how my under eye concealer and even my face concealer holds up throughout the rest of the night. All right, so I just finished my makeup. I didn't apply a setting spray just to make sure I can really see how this concealer wears for the rest of the night. So let's go ahead and do a wear test. I'm quite a night owl, and I was planning on filming another video right now, but I got so excited when my husband came back from Ulta, so I'm doing a little bit of a later wear test. It's currently 6:41 p.m., but again, I stay up so late, especially these days. So we're gonna get a solid wear test out of this tonight regardless. Based off my first impressions right now, I love the amount of coverage it gave, and I love how lightweight it feels. It definitely looks really nice underneath the eyes as well. Actually, I'm already noticing that this side with the eye cream looks much smoother than this side, if I'm being super picky, but it's not too much of a difference, at least not yet. So I will see you guys back here at the end of the night so we can really see how everything held up. So far, so good. So I'll see you guys in a little bit for my check-in. All right, you guys, this is an insane check-in time. It's currently 2:58, almost 3 a.m. Guys, when I tell you my sleep schedule has been so off over the past week or so, it has been insanely off. But the good news is we got an 8-hour wear test on this concealer, so let's talk about it. It's so interesting because when I first applied them, I didn't notice a huge difference between the eye cream side and the regular side. Now that I've worn it all night, there is definitely a significant difference in this side. Hopefully you can see. It's settled into my smile lines. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It's settled into this smile line a lot deeper on the side without eye cream. On this side, I mean, it's a little bit settled by the end of the day, which is normal for most concealers, but it looks so much more smooth to me. It's a subtle difference, but definitely one that I will remember because I feel like it did look better on top of an eye cream. It has a very thin formula, but it's extremely pigmented, and I used the tiniest amount, and on the side where I didn't prep my under eyes, it did crease a little bit, but other than that, it really remained intact. As far as the blemish concealer goes, I'm noticing a little bit of separation right here and also over here. So for me, I don't think it's something that I would use on my face as much as under my eyes. I really did like how it looked under the eyes. However, I do think, just like the Good Apple Foundation, a little bit goes a long way and it's easy to overdo it. I haven't tried to layer up a ton of the concealer under the eyes since this is my very first day wearing it, but I could see how with a formula like this, you don't want to overdo it. Otherwise, you could risk it settling into more fine lines and you just don't need that much because it's so pigmented. But that's also a pro because underneath the eyes, it doesn't feel too heavy. I felt like it brightened as much as I wanted it to, and it still feels like it would have quite a bit of longevity underneath the eyes, even though it's looking more expired on the rest of my face. So for me, I thought this was a good concealer. I'm gonna have to keep playing with it. I don't know if it's like the best concealer I've ever tried, but I did love the lightweight formula for the amount of brightening that it gave my under eye area. I could see this potentially being a little bit more drying than you might think, so for me, I'm going to continue to prep my under eye with some eye cream before going in, especially if you like to use powder to set on top. As of right now, I'm still loving this one a little bit more because it is so much more hydrating. So for me, I love that kind of super hydrated look underneath the eyes these days. So I'm still probably going to reach for my Bare With Me concealer a little bit more than this one based off of my first impressions. I will continue to try this for you guys in a few different ways. So yeah, I thought it was good. I'm excited to keep using it, but I'm not sure if it's an all-time favorite. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have tried this concealer and what you think about it. I hope you guys found this review helpful, and hopefully we can continue to help each other out in the comments if you guys have any application tips, or if you want to share how this concealer worked for you, please feel free. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!